So I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the Public Relations Committee. Let's say the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So the first order of business this evening is to select a chairperson for the subcommittee.
Object.
There's no motion.
Just kidding.
Like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion for Jeremiah to be,
I would second that.
okay.
Oh my goodness, seriously?
I know it comes out of left field, I get it.
Okay.
Should we vote? No, I'm sorry, discussion?
Discussion?
I just want to thank you guys for the trust that you're putting in me
Well,
in this position.
Sure.
It means a lot.
Sir. Great. Okay. Vote?
Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Motion carries.
All right.
All right. So the agenda is now yours, sir.
All right.
You're gonna walk through it? Because the approval of minutes, you and
Yeah,
you
we
both
weren't
weren't
even-
here for.
We're not even board members.
So they would have to abstain, correct?
I think that they can vote in favor in light of the fact that the committees have changed and they couldn't be present before.
Okay.
Because if only you vote, it wouldn't carry. It wouldn't carry.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't see
So
a
you guys
blank,
want to take a minute to go through it? You may not, they're very short.
I went through.
As did I.
Yeah.
So, motion, is there a motion? Motion to approve?
Second?
Any discussion?
No discussion.
So. Great. Unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay, discussion of goals for 23-24. This is, I think, your agenda item.
yeah, I mean, normally we set the goals and they don't have to be finalized tonight, but we should try to finalize them before the school year ends. I think it's important for this year to have a conversation about a goal around building public relations in light of the negotiations with Fremont. And none of that can be shared publicly yet, but I think that building good community relationships and sharing information about that process when it's time would be a good goal for this committee.
So you think going through a redacted sort of version of the presentation that we're giving to Fremont to the communities, offering that in the auditorium or something?
I think offering any information that would
I mean,
support.
publish it, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
then maybe,
Well, I mean, the first step might be to come up with a plan for that, which would include potentially the publication of something,
Right.
which would include a public session that we could call, but it could be, developing a PR schedule or whatnot,
Mhm.
as much as those negotiations would allow, right, as things unfold.
I think those. Hey, come on in, guys.
Ready for us?
Yeah, please.
we're almost to public comment, but you're
Yeah.
more than welcome to sit down.
We're almost there. I think that the standing goal of this subcommittee is to continue to reach out to the community and build relationships and share information about important items such as the budget, the teacher's contract this year will be an important item. The other piece that's going to be really important is the Fremont piece. So all three things are kind of interrelated. So I think it's important to just kind of keep an eye on those three. The other thing that we did a lot this last year that I think was incredibly helpful was reaching out from the board to reach out to the schools. We've had really good feedback about board to staff relationships around teacher appreciation, coffee carts, donuts. It has been incredibly well received. In fact, I had one high school teacher say that in her 7 years of working here, teacher appreciation had never been better. So thank you to you all,
For the
to
boosters.
the boosters and all the different groups that helped. It was really great this year. So we're definitely headed in the right direction with those items. So I don't think that it's necessarily that the goal of the subcommittee changes. It's just some of the topics might evolve. Fremont may not always be a topic for the subcommittee, but the budget, teachers' contracts come every 2 or 3 years. So this year, those are the two big ones that are big for this year only. I wouldn't want us to lose sight of all those relations pieces that we've been doing with
The
the
culture.
Yeah, the culture pieces. I think we need to keep doing that too.
And hopefully we get more engaged with the boosters, right? So
Yeah.
we're doing more stuff collectively than sort of at different times.
Yeah,
Pull the troops together.
yeah. The boosters did a great job helping out with the coffee carts and other things, and so it's certainly headed in the right direction.
So I would love to see us, and we're talking about it right now, but come up with some ideas that you have that you would like us to focus on. You've listed a couple of them, right? And that way, as you mentioned earlier, we can kind of come out with a strategy that we're going to follow, right? Because if we just leave it willy-nilly, like, hey, we want to be better at communicating, it never happens, right? And I know we're not launching a business, but we are launching somewhat of a PR campaign, and each one needs to be a little bit different, right? Different levels of transparency, different actions, things like that. And so we can do some planning behind the scenes once we know, hey, these are the kind of the focus points that we want to get after collectively. And then here's some avenues that we can take on the way to there. You know? And I think we have the right, the right people in this committee to make it happen. So
I would agree.
Especially for a newsletter.
I know.
I mean, well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You talk to people, right? I've talked to the people out there, and everybody says transparency. And of course you say, hey, watch the meetings, come to the meetings, do this. But importantly, we don't discuss every topic at every meeting. So it'd be great to have a way to, continue to keep people informed about things they care about.
Sure.
And affect them.
So maybe that newsletter would have like Fremont,
Yeah,
teacher
sections.
sections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things that are likely
Next,
to affect.
Right.
next teacher appreciation agenda.
And
One
maybe like
suggestion that I have for you that we have not done enough of, and we should talk to the board about this, is the citizens that are retired, which is 85% of our population, tend to read the Carriagetown News.
Yeah.
And so the board could write more letters to the Carriagetown News as a board, or if they appoint one person to write them for the board or whatever, however you want to do it, I think it would be a really good idea. Especially, and I mean, it should be like every month, every few weeks, just to keep the energy moving, because I've gotten feedback that they read the Carriagetown News and they don't always go on Facebook. So the parents are more connected to social media, but the senior citizens still read the newspaper.
Because of like, COVID's
mailers.
sort of over, but like, we never reinstituted those luncheons and the breakfasts. senior
Yeah,
breakfasts.
some of that stuff's starting to happen now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jen's got one coming up pretty soon.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know that Memorial had the Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we never did the breakfast at Big.
Yeah, no, they didn't do the breakfast at Bakey, right? Yeah.
This is a crazy question, but I'm new here. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to go with that. This is our first PR meeting, but I wanna be able to milk that for as much as I can. I'm new here, I have a question. Is there any kind of budget attached to, what we do? Like if we wanted to do a mailer, physical mailer?
The school board has a small budget for things, but we can also work, if there's something that we need to do. We have money for the mailer that we send out for the budget annually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, we could use some of the funds, but I can also work with Matt and try to figure
Yeah,
out,
it'd be interesting. Direct mail, it works.
I think for Fremont, direct mail might be the way to go when it's time to
Yeah,
really
just
share
thinking
some
about-
facts about the
Sure.
contract.
Right.
And not all the time, but
No,
for selected
No, but just for
issues.
select things,
Yeah.
treat important stuff.
I mean, can we absorb the cost for one in a year? Probably. After
Yeah.
that, we might want
Right.
to build a little bit of a budget for it.
Sure. Because I know I'm engaged in the community, I'm paying attention to what's happening. Half the time I find out stuff because the select board sends out a direct mailer
Right.
that says, hey, here's some things that are happening, here's what to be aware of, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, geez, I'm connected in all these places, I didn't know that, right? And so
Yep.
that direct mailer is helpful.
Mhm.
So yeah, I see the benefit as well. Yeah. Any other discussion on that one, guys? Tom, anything else from you?
I think that what we should do is reflect on all the things that came up tonight, and then at the next meeting, formally set the goals. But
Agreed.
for this committee, I encourage you to think about that the goal is to increase public awareness of what's going on at the schools. And then underneath that, the modalities for this year would be X, Y, and Z, and then start building out a framework to do those things.
Yeah.
This is a big year for this committee. Like, it's gonna be really important for us to work on particularly with the teacher's contract in Fremont, to work on the sales part.
So to that point, and I don't know how you manage this up till now or how you want to manage it, but with teacher contracts coming up, I'm already hearing lots of conversation. It's lack of information, so their imagination runs wild, right?
Yeah.
And so where, what sort of communication happens with the teachers? You know what I mean? And I don't know how that's managed, and I'm sure it's never gonna be perfect, right?
Mhm.
But saying that we have a strategy to kind of get after this, you know?
Yeah, so the trick of the teacher's contract, and this is not confidential or just linked to the negotiation process. There's a public component, there's a part I can share publicly
Mhm.
that isn't confidential. And what it is the process. So the process is incredibly confidential between a small group of people for a very long time. And then it becomes very public and needs to be shared and very quickly with a lot of people.
Mhm.
And so imaginations do run wild from now until about November.
Mhm.
And usually if it doesn't go well, December is the latest. And there's a drop dead date in somewhere in the middle of December that's set by RSA each year. And the lead negotiator will work on that.
Mhm.
And if we don't reach an agreement by about a week or two before that, it goes to mediation.
Mhm.
And all of that is confidential, right? And so once that's all done,
But the process isn't though.
no, the process that I just shared is
Yeah.
totally public.
Right.
Like it's
Mhm.
driven by RSA. And so the teachers will select a few people to negotiate on their behalf, who will share with their membership, and then we'll have a couple of board members that will negotiate with the attorney on our behalf.
Mhm.
And then what will happen is, at the end of that, if an agreement is reached for presentation to the voters, then that becomes public, not all the ins and outs of what was discussed,
Right.
but the final document with the language and the money.
Well, and I think a lot of the confusion and the imaginations running wild has to do with, because it's an inherently complicated process, a lack of understanding how something like a teacher contract, Fremont, this, that affects the bottom line for the
Voters.
taxpayer, for the
Yeah.
voter, right?
Yeah.
Like, how does a teacher contract, why is it important? How does it affect the budget?
Right.
What does this mean for me, right? So relating those topics for people will be helpful, I think,
Mhm.
giving them context.
I also think that to Jeremiah's point, it's important for us to, and for me, I'm happy to do this. There are two things I can do. One is I can give the board information that they can share.
Mhm.
So that when you're asked, you can just share it or just refer them right to me. So I've had some people come to me recently with some really wild rumors.
Yeah.
And I was so happy they came to me. And because they listened to the board member that directed them to me,
Mhm.
we've started to build a relationship and they're like, wow, this is great. Like and now they're emailing me regularly, right? So the spin gets less when they reach out.
Right.
And so I just need to keep saying to people when that spin gets really crazy, if you can have them contact me, or if they're not comfortable with that, which is totally understandable, I can give you some information, or they can contact the building principal, right? Or Diana. Like we have a nice team of people that are all different personalities and types. There should be no reason for anyone to feel like there isn't someone they can talk to about their questions, issues, or concerns. Is that one of your moms up there? I just saw someone kind of walking by with a Dunkin' Donuts, and I didn't want to leave her out, you know what I
He's just
mean?
flagging people down if you see Dunkin'
Yeah.
Donuts.
Yeah, this is the most people that have been at this meeting since I've been on the board.
Oh, in 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 years.
Great.
Hi, don't be sorry.
Yeah.
You found us.
Testament to you.
I'm just glad I saw you walking by. It was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
really strong.
He brings people together.
Oh, yeah, we moved the room so that they'd be closer to the board meetings. So I think that the big goal probably will be something like, to increase community knowledge of the events going on with the school board, or however you want to word that. You guys would be way better at that than me. And then think about the different items that we want to address this year, and then maybe we can develop a plan to address them.
Common questions and answers to
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
I was thinking about a revolving FAQ type thing.
Yeah.
It would always be,
I did that when we reorganized the district. I had
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of questions and pages.
right,
And it really helped when people were frustrated and confused because I could just point them to the document. It just got really long.
And I get it, because I hear some of the questions that are coming out from teachers.
Mhm.
And the reality is they spend from very early in the morning until late at night teaching,
Mhm.
right? They're not understanding the process of what's happening around them for this whole thing, right? They're focused on students and grading and reading. And so to be able to say very rudimentary questions that I know if they just had answers to, it would relieve some of that strain in the process. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yep.
So just to have it right there in their face, like, hey, these are some things. You don't have to feel dumb asking, or I don't know who to ask, so I just won't ask, right?
The other thing I always tell teachers is if you're not sure and you don't know what to do, just ask your union rep.
Yep.
Because they're always their job is to liaise with the administration and help too. So, or if they don't feel comfortable asking someone, just ask them. There's a lot of avenues to get information.
Cool.
I love the idea of an FAQ
Yeah.
and having it being a running document. Now I'm imagining what it would look and feel
A
like.
document, and maybe, I mean, I want it to be accessible.
Mhm.
I mean, if we may have a digital solution for that, right?
Yeah.
That would be much, they have some,
Right on the website.
put it on the website, put it on, something that would be easily updatable and searchable. Just because you don't want people scrolling through a PowerPoint of like 200 slides of, you
Yep.
know what I mean?
Well, I think it would be good to have it be by maybe a Google Doc with the subheading. So one Google Doc for teacher negotiations. This is what we can share at this time. Thanks for checking.
Yeah, running.
Another one for
Top items.
Fremont.
Yeah.
And you can have in the, because with a Google Doc, you can have that left hand, what do they call it? Whatever navigational pane that you can click on
Yeah, you can do that
topically,
too.
so you can.
Or I
jump
can just
around.
have them host it right on the website and it's just a click.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
We got the tech department, so we can,
Yeah.
Right.
they'll help us.
That's great.
Good ideas.
So, anything else with that, guys?
That's good, that's good.
No, I've got 4 ideas running, but I'll go with
Yeah.
them and then I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've
Yeah.
got all kinds of great ideas already.
You're gonna get them before next meeting then?
Yeah, I'm thinking about making a public relations homepage with hyperlinks and I've just
This
got all
is-
kinds of ideas now that
That's
I
what
hadn't thought of before.
And that's, I mean, just when you said, that, the senior community, right?
Mhm.
Not having access, like they, in that letter, to the
You
parents,
can push.
give them the link,
That's
push them that
right.
way.
you push them that way. So that could be really the whole
Help.
base.
Help.
And I think that we should also put some of the common questions and answers in the newspaper because it gets around fast.
Yeah.
You put some of the big ones to get
Yeah.
attention.
And then you
Here's
put the
the-
URL.
If you want
There
some
go.
more, go
Yeah.
here.
Right.
Yeah.
Or call me and I'll print you a copy if you don't have access to
Right.
the computer.
It's like
Yeah.
the drinking water you're drinking is going to kill you, live at 11.
And then we do a PR parade where we drive around and we do leaflets.
And we'll throw them out of the car. Can I be the thrower?
Just joking,
Yeah.
just to be clear. Okay.
It gives me that look sometimes too.
Sometimes when you brainstorm, you just gotta throw it out there.
Yeah, exactly, see what
Right?
sticks,
There-
exactly.
No bad ideas. Yes, Ed. Yes,
I heard
Ed.
Chris
Yes,
Bashaw's got a really cool Jeep. We could ride in the back of it.
Well, I was gonna bring it up. His vehicles, yeah, we could do the 5-ton, we could do the
Somebody tell
duck
Dawn.
boat.
I think he
He
sold
sold
the
the
duck
duck
boat.
boat.
Yeah, sadly.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I think we're at our first public comment.
That's so rare for a parade.
Yeah,
Honestly.
right,
Hello.
So the homecoming, which we graduated 20 years ago this year, actually. And we had homecoming, it was a parade around the plains, and then it came up and around Chase Field. Of course, that's not really realistic for here because the games and everything aren't here on Saturday. But it was in October, this year it's gonna be September 23rd. But we would like to move the parade back to a Saturday. Last year, they did have talk about it, but I heard from students and, gossip type of things, which is how we find things out, that one of the pushbacks was staff participation on a Saturday, which of course is a problem. And when I reached out because I know that Donna Harvey is going to be taking over Barry Bovea as a student council. And where the activities boosters no longer ran that, which is what I've been used to in the past, couple of decades. So my question is, so we are the PTO here. And because there's no activity boosters anymore, it's PTO and then about 7 boosters. And we're all very segregated. It's not really a working community. We kind of overlap today, this week alone, we had actually kind of a conflict of interest that happened. So we want to kind of find a way to come together.
Mhm.
And by doing that, we as PTO want to reach out more to the community and have more community events. When we came here, we had a community service obligation before graduation.
Mhm.
That's how I used to do senior luncheon. I used to go to the Bakey School and do volunteer work, those type of things. We're not in the community as much as the high school students, so they're not really getting around like you guys are saying. They're not connected with that group that's voting, that's asking questions, that's seeing the negative things that might be coming around. So we're hoping if we incorporate kind of the students and ourselves into Kingston Days, Heritage Days, the things that are coming up this summer, And then introducing homecomings coming up, we want a parade, we want to ask Ellis, will they do a float or have their kids walk? We want memorial, we want baking, we want everybody.
Mhm.
So it'd be Saturday before the games.
Mhm.
Last I talked to Bob, the first game was like 10 or 11 in the morning.
Okay,
That is a challenge. In the past, that parade used to be 8 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
That was when it was. And then we would have our field hockey games and everything.
right, so you're getting the kids up at like 6.
Oh, yeah, we were up.
Yeah.
all
After,
night
after
long.
working on floats
Yeah,
for 2 weeks before
Yeah,
that,
the
and
floats are awesome.
costumes and everything.
And they were awesome. We had
They were
18
amazing.
wheeler floats. We had real
We had
floats.
tractor trailer floats.
Yes.
And we worked for
So
weeks.
The Ferris wheel.
Yeah,
that,
that's before you had social media.
that,
Phones, computers.
right, it was a lot. So now the kids are having the same issues where you always have. You have the same 5 to 10 kids working on everything.
Yep.
But it's moved up in a couple weeks. So they need to be aware of that because it's gonna change everything.
Mhm.
But we kind of need a plan where we talk to Jen. She likes the idea. She said maybe talk about incentives for advisors, so they will be coming. But it's more, an issue, I guess, of judging. But I don't think that the judges should be staff. I think the judges should be committee members like it used to be. It was, board members. It was like having like a Holly Olette,
I
somebody.
have the
in
perfect
town.
guy,
You have a guy?
Peter Broderick.
Peter Broderick.
He needs
Now,
to be a
was our-
judge.
He was
Just in my
our,
head.
Good one, actually.
we've actually been talking a lot about Peter Broderick.
Yeah.
So he was our biology teacher.
That's on camera, Peter, just for the
Peter
record.
Broderick, yeah. So, like people that are in the community that can maybe draw others in. Alumni always used to come to the parade. Now that it's a Friday during school, like no one even really knew about it. And that's sad because they do put a lot of work into it. We want to see the kids proud of the school. We don't want to be hearing about behaviors. We don't want to be hearing about issues with vandalism. We don't want to be hearing about that. We want them to own this place and feel proud of it. So I think that incorporating these little changes again, like just actually bringing them back, it's not even like anything that we're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
So I hope that we can get support in that and to have like school board members there that day, walking. A lot of them are alumni. They actually talked about Indian Festival, I guess, and that's like, that would be even bigger trying to redo that, but just incorporating a parade, a real parade for the town.
Okay.
So
We're
that,
willing to help.
yeah.
And now I know you guys, someone got rid of the senior parade. That
Senior
would be
car
a great
parade?
way to do, have the seniors lead it off, like next year's seniors. So that way they feel they have their special moment. And overall, not only is there just a PR problem with the school board and the teacher and everybody, nobody's talking, we don't have communication, we're not all on the same page, we're not all involved. We need to build our community. How we're gonna build our community is having these events, inviting Fremont in and have them all come with us. So we all celebrate. And then instead of, everything we do here is the same group of people. Same as when you have a meeting, you have the same parents. It is what it is. Unless we do something to change it, get the other kids involved. We have a lot of vandalism that goes on around here. There's only a small group of kids that are engaged and take pride in this environment. Imagine if we had, the kids, each grade does a food tent. Why not have the shop kids selling their
Birdhouses, their,
charcuterie boards that they make? Why not have
Oh,
the
they're
art?
beautiful too.
We have all
It's
this
great
talent and
ideas.
artwork and
ceramics.
ceramics.
Yep.
I'm hearing, I even heard, the teacher who I always forget their name, about they do a cook-off. I didn't even know Sanborn offered that. My kid's a student here. And we need to become more involved and engaged and get the community here. And we want to help. We're hoping they'll work with us. We think this is a great start.
And you were saying like flyers and stuff, but an invitation, a mail that's like an invitation. We're having this event. Come out on this late morning and do it. And it's the same, this past year, my family was the only one going to Winter Carnival. Because we've been in the system for so long, we know that we are welcome. But when I brought it up to their parents, they were like, we didn't know that we were welcome. The parents not knowing that they're actually invited to come in and watch their kids, and that's also a part of the
Well, I
disconnect.
also
we're
didn't
having.
know the date was enough time to request time off work. Like those of us that have the Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30, like without enough notice, I can't be there to support them, especially during daytime events. Like we chopped up a million veggies the night before teacher appreciation, but I could not be here to help serve it, like, because without enough notice, I can't, like, it's
And
okay to take a
It's all
couple
on the
hours.
calendar, but you have to.
It's just
look.
hard, like, especially if you have kids in different schools and the events are all different, it's really tough to know what's going on and have enough notice to be there for things that are really important with work too, because they have to eat, you know.
Right, oh, yeah.
Their bills, so
Yeah,
like,
thank you.
like enough notice, it's like when my son's Logan Pickering, 6'2", I don't know if anybody knows him. It's not easy for me to find like winter carnival costumes with 3 days notice, I can't just go to Walmart.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", lineman, like it's not easy, so without enough notice, I'm scrambling around like a crazy
And
person.
that's student council, so we're
So
gonna
it's
plan.
like-
I was gonna say, some of this is high school related, like you've met with Jen, I assume.
Oh, absolutely.
met with
Yeah.
Okay, because Jen would address that
Mhm.
piece, and I'm sure she would be happy to do so.
I think so, she are.
Yeah, no,
The
this
parade,
is,
okay.
that's student council,
We
this
need
is
to
more,
reach out
yes.
Jen?
to get approval for a parade off-site on a Saturday.
Yeah,
Okay.
you illustrated, and again, this is supposed to be public comment, but I'm happy to check in with you or, talk about this myself, just because I wanna help. The biggest problem is that in order to run the parade on Saturday, we have to have enough staff volunteer to help. And when the, please don't hold me to this, because it's been years since this happened, but my understanding was that when the athletic boosters folded, there weren't enough volunteers to run the parade on Saturday. It wasn't a lack of willingness on the administration's part. Mr. Staff wanted to have it, he didn't have enough people to do it.
How many people do you typically need?
I don't know, I never ran the event, I just know of the event, I didn't run it.
We want to know if there's a standard kind of like this many volunteers per this many participants, or if it's,
Yeah,
or if it's just a
Yeah.
practical.
I wish I could have invited Jen tonight, like she would love to.
We've
Yeah.
approached her,
She
she's
actually told
supporting us.
us to come here.
Yeah, okay, good.
And,
good.
I think part of it too is.
I mean, this is good too,
Yeah.
right? It's
This
just,
is this September, these kids have been impacted by COVID. We want to give them something, and there's so much red tape of trying to get to what to do. That's why we want to know, who do we go to, what do we do we have your support, anything even off, so we, PR committee, we were told that you might be a good place to start and help us and direct us, because by the time you get things passed around here,
It's too late now.
You're baking cupcakes at 3 o'clock in the morning and then it gets canceled.
yeah.
There's another committee
It's
doing the
just-
same thing.
you know what I mean? And it's just not fair. We want to get organized and help, but we also need to have the answers, and you're kicking the can by the time, we all work full-time. By the time we've chased down 70 hours to be able to do cupcakes at a event, the track, whatever that is. You didn't get done track meet.
Oh, I'm
You know,
so
it's-
sorry that happened.
Well,
So there's like a conflict.
That wasn't the conflict.
What were you
For
talking about?
paperwork,
What were you talking about?
Cupcakes at
It was
3 a.m.
paperwork, it was who it needs to go to, who does the approval, this person, that person, and then. it's
But you
passed
said it
around
got
and it's
canceled the day
graded.
before because somebody was doing the same thing.
Oh, well,
Oh,
that was this weekend, but
That's it.
that's a whole
something
nother
different.
debacle that
Whole
we
nother
went
story.
through.
It's
already go to the structure, we have a calendar.
That's kind of why we're kind of told to come here so we can.
I'm glad you're here.
Direction.
Yeah, by the
You know
way,
what
so,
I mean,
like,
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hear
direction, like
confusion,
who do we
right?
go
Yeah.
to,
And
right?
we're
Like,
really
we send it to
here's-
this person, it's Dawson, it's Jen, it's this person, it's that person, who can approve what we're trying to do, what's
So
the
I
fast
don't-
track, so we can communicate properly and get what we want to get done.
Yeah, so
It's our problem.
I certainly call me anytime, right? I'm happy to help you. And I think that the question is, unfortunately, due to policies and procedures, sometimes it's not simple. And I might have to help guide you through it, but Jen and I are happy to do that. There's two layers here. One is, would the board support the parade? Which is totally, yeah, I mean, I would say pretty comfortably without a
Yeah.
formal vote that everyone would support the parade. The question is, what does Jen need for support from
Yeah.
staff
Okay.
to effectively run the parade?
And that's where
Jen
they're,
mentioned that incentive piece
Yeah.
for the faculty to then give us a salary.
Or does it
yeah,
have to
but
be
I,
faculty?
can I say something?
Yeah, go for it, Rick.
Because I don't necessarily know, because then it might be a no, right? So if we rely on an incentive that we can approve, right? Because some things we, as a board, we just can't approve. Then it may be a no, whereas if you come to us and we take away the confusion and you say, this is what we want to do at X date to this subcommittee, we are more than committed to be engaged, right? That's one of the commitments I had.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
then we work together, right? So you don't get stuff at the last minute. But then if it, like, my point is, and I sometimes go off tangents, but if we need 30 people, I'm one, And then
Right,
I'll
we got
pull in
4
my,
right here.
my wife, and then
Right.
we'll work with you to get volunteers that maybe we don't,
Overlap.
do I want the
You're
teachers?
in
100%.
And I'm here. and
Yeah,
I'm-
Yeah, the
Yeah,
question
the question
wasn't
is-
as much adult, the adult support did collapse when the, when certain booster groups folded. But the staff support also got, and I don't know what the ratios are, or the numbers, or I'd have to ask, now, if I have to, I'll call Brian Stack and ask him.
I would
Right?
love
He's
to-
very available.
Oh, he's
so
totally
I-
cool, yeah.
He's reached out to me saying, you
Yeah.
know, and that's actually how I got into PTO, because I contacted him about activity boosters. I said, Ricky's this freshman, where's the activity boosters group? And he said, it's gone, so you've got to join the PTO to build that.
I will.
I'm so-
Here we go.
Just like
I have a
school.
question. Is there an available, or could we get, like a taxonomy of all these groups and how they're related?
That's what we're working on.
Like,
I'm trying to get.
you guys are mentioning
They
groups
all
and I'm like,
pop
who, the
Yeah,
what?
we-
The,
There's a lot of them, and
Right.
it used to
We're
be
trying.
one.
right,
Activity
so there's been a
boosters.
fracturing of
Yeah,
all.
you got
groups.
the- you got this- the middle school boosters,
Every school has, so there's 2 BTOs, Memorial and the high school have a BTO.
Yeah.
Beaky has boosters, the middle school has boosters. And then high school also has a booster
I
for
know.
everything.
You know how Lord of the Rings, how they all
Fremont has
go
one.
together
Fremont
and
has
they
it.
put the ring in the middle and they all gather around? We need that,
That's
all
what we've
have
been
to come,
talking about, having a group,
Can I be Elrond?
whatever.
Okay.
like a spirit committee, like that's what we've been talking about as well, having a committee. That's what we talked to you about at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
That's separate from it, that kind of like clicks in, because I have friends that they're not into Memorial PTO, but they are interested in like a community committee
Mhm.
that might do events and things like that. So having a calendar that has all the events for the different schools, so we're not overlapping and we're not fundraising the same time
Right.
as everyone else. We want it to make sense. We do work. I'm a nurse. I have 3 jobs. I'm doing this too because I care. But I also want to make sure that I'm not wasting anybody's time. But I really think that the parade is something that has gone away, that really brought a lot of community here.
All right, I'll work on it. Who do you want me to call in this group? Mary?
Sure.
I was just gonna say, I would love a point of contact,
Yeah,
right? So
I'll
that
just-
way it's not,
Maybe
you know what I
Stephanie
mean?
or
Yeah.
she's
Can
not-
can all
she's the
5 of you
president.
just send me one email?
Yes.
And then I'll just communicate to all 5 of you simultaneously? By the way, I'm Tom. I don't think we've ever met.
I'm Janice, I'm Stephanie's
So
wife.
I'm Stephanie Dow. I'm the new president of the PTO.
All right,
My
great.
son is Ricky. He's a junior at the Callaway.
Uh-huh.
And then this is Megan.
Berg.
Keep going, keep going.
And
And then your kids, yeah.
I'm Janice, no, what are you talking
Oh, no, sorry, no, Megan Berg, my son is gonna be a junior next year, Logan Pickering, and then I have one that's gonna be a freshman, Ethan Pickering.
Great, thanks for
So
being
I'm
here.
Janice Dunham, I'm Stephanie's wife, so I have 2 stepchildren, but I'm also a call member for Peace and Fire.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's why you look familiar. I've seen you before, but yeah.
I'm Mary Wiener. I have 1 daughter. She is currently a freshman. But we also want to include like the fire, Newton, all, you know, so we want to approach them all, but we don't want to say, hey, we have this great idea, but we don't know that we can do it.
So, oh, yeah, and can you say who you are?
And I'm Donna Muse, I'm Katie Muse's mom, so I'm all about schools.
It's very nice to meet you. Yeah.
We've actually met.
Yeah, we've met before.
But I don't know,
Katie's
okay,
wonderful.
gentlemen, I'm sorry I came in late, but could you introduce?
Yeah, I'm Jeremiah. Yeah, sorry.
I'm Micah. I'm Micah Patillo. I'm the Newton School Board member. And Jeremiah.
Yeah. Rick Owen, 2 boys.
Biblical names.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the kids.
2 boys in the district. Gabe is going to be in 9th grade, and Caleb's going to be in 5th next year.
These are my
Wait,
kids.
I'm sorry, I didn't get all of that, I'm sorry.
Oh, Gabe is going to be moving into 9th grade, and my other son Caleb's going to be in 5th grade next year.
Go ahead, I'll circle back to my kids.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And I'm Jeremiah Knoll. And by the way, Mike and I are new to the school board, right? So when we're
Right.
talking about, hey, in the past, we've done this, I have no idea what any of that
Yeah,
is,
we're
right?
My head's
So,
spinning when you
yeah,
guys are
so,
like,
so Rick is the only person that has any context for what we did in the past. And so this is us just trying to get on the same page and where we take it from here, right? So Jeremiah Knoll, 2 boys, Jacob and Eli, 1 going into 5th, 1 into 7th this year.
And I also have an Eli. I have a daughter going into the middle school, Aletha. And then Eli will be in 4th grade and Benjamin is at Baker will be in 2nd grade.
Yeah. And as far as, in fact, because they are new, I'm fairly new, right? I've been on here for a year. And what I've seen over the passed before I got on the school board, and one of the reasons why I ran was because I watched everything that was involved with my kids fold because of lack of involvement. Cub Pack in the town folded. I offered to do it all and just have people sign up and let me use their names. Weren't interested in that. So I value you being here, and you'll get my full support. I'll drive a vehicle in a parade. I'll do whatever you need me to do. So
And Monique Sands will be joining us.
Monique does,
She's coming
you
up.
can't, what if she left the town, right? Like, what would you
She'll
do to
be here.
replace her?
Yeah.
You wouldn't,
Freshman.
yeah.
So we
So,
have energy, we
Yeah.
have interest, and we know what was, and we want it to be that.
Yeah.
Do you have a theme or an idea?
So
for
that's
it?
not us. So student council are the ones that organize the whole thing. That's why we have to come to them.
okay,
But we wanted to come to them with, because when I did go to them, their reply was, we tried, we were told no. And so we're trying to figure out
well,
why. With
Yep.
who.
And by who?
Staff
Exactly.
involvement.
Right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
let's,
So,
I'm about removing obstacles, right?
Right.
Do we want the staff involved? 100%.
Of course.
Can we get it accomplished with all these other groups that we have and those people to come together to do it? Probably, right? So,
Absolutely.
so you have, I think you have our
We can.
support as a
Yeah.
subcommittee, 100%. You know, I can't promise that there's a financial incentive that the board can approve.
Well, she was
if
more
that's-
so, I think, even talking about contract wise, because she said that advisors and somebody that, is new to the job, like the freshman class coming up,
Mhm.
maybe putting something in there that says, this is part of the job, coming to this event or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think she was just kind of talking about changing the concept and just having just.
Right,
part of-
clarifying the job description
Yeah.
of being a team leader or class advisor, that the parade is a part of it. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I
Those are
think
things she
that
mentioned.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I think that the part for me that's tricky is I've been here just long enough to know that this happened, but it stopped right. So I came in 2017, then 18, 19, and then we went to COVID. So I knew some things were happening, but I don't know how they all happened. And so part of our problem is some of that historical knowledge. Bob Dawson knows things because he was here in the high school building. Like the three of you haven't experienced any of this at the high school, so
Right.
there's some questions I have now, but we don't need to discuss them now. I can just work on them, right? So if you could just, the five of you could email me and say, hey, Tom, what are the barriers? This is what we're getting. What can you do? And I'm happy to help do homework and kind of figure out what the processes are.
And our main question is, how many people are needed? That's like, pretty much what we need to.
Yeah.
It can be the
Businesses
politicians, not
we've already talked to said they want to be part of it too, you know, so we.
If I do this, can I drive a fire truck?
No.
No, it's cool. I'm talking Graham, we're cool. Yeah, that's cool. Graham will teach me. or-
My card was.
Maybe he'll just let me toot the horn, I'm cool.
For the record, Tom, I wanted to put flyers out and throw them down the staircase, like 10 things I hate about you.
Yes.
I was told it was probably a bad idea and I'd get
Yeah.
in trouble, but for the record, I'm with you on the throwing flyers.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it takes.
Well, this seems like, what time, it's June.
Yeah.
It's not a ton of time.
No, there's no, that's why we're
So,
trying to push.
but yeah, so I know that we'd be happy to, advise or help with, the PR part of it, right? Getting the word out, getting people excited. That's, what we do.
Yeah, and so when we go and talk to, Chief Johnson, we can say to him, okay, what route are we using? This is the route that has been in the past. Obviously, they have documentation of it. People are still around, like we could get a hold of people.
Oh, yeah, Don Briggs would be a great one.
Yeah. He'd be
He
able
would
to
know.
talk to, because he's been doing it forever, but
Yeah.
Mr. Officer Harris would be here.
Yeah.
We're like, it's good.
Yeah,
it's
Harvey
good.
and Mr.
Yeah.
and Mr. Roberts have seen it all.
Well, look-
Everyone's nice.
Yeah, and
Some
the
people
thing
also
is-
been in the department long enough to know.
Yeah.
Right,
everyone.
Joel's
We
been
know
around for a while. He'll
everyone.
know
We
too,
just
but
have to.
the biggest thing that I'm thinking about is not, I need some more information. I need to do some homework, and I'm happy to do that for you quickly. Right? That's not a problem. And as far as I don't think that it's a matter of having an issue with the board or the central office approving you having a parade for the purpose of homecoming. I think it's, the problem as I understood it was there were not enough people engaged, involved at the time that they wanted to do it back when it didn't happen. My understanding was there weren't enough adults. There wasn't a U group at that point. There was nothing.
They went off.
And the
Activity
teachers couldn't do it
posters.
alone.
Saw it, and then it fell to student council and Ms. Bover. Ms. Bobert, who's been doing it all. And same thing with Linda Barnum, who used to be
Yep.
an activities boosters.
They
event.
did.
And so we would like to be more involved to make it easier, because that is a huge job for her. So Mary's mom, who's not here right now, like she's, Ms. Harvey told me she would be the president of the student council, is my cousin. Hopefully we can like join with her and pick her brain. She will have more information.
Yep.
So that sounds good. We just
Okay.
wanted to make
So
sure
we'll-
that we were on
And,
board.
and you guys all work, so if we wanted to get together after school one night, could we meet can we meet, like, if I needed to meet with you to talk and plan, I'm happy to just get involved with this and help them out. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
I
if
don't
we-
mind one.
Tom, if we don't mind, just because of time,
Yeah,
if I can
yeah,
kind of
I'll be
wrap
in
this.
touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremiah.
Yep, yeah, so we'll do that, and just so you all know, coming in, thank you for coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And you have our subcommittee support, that's not a question, and I'm not gonna speak for everyone, but I think it would be pretty safe to say that you probably have the entire board's support.
I've approached most of them.
So procedural stuff, let's continue to work with Tom when it comes to support, how we can support, we're here. All of our emails are online on the SAU 17 website, so you can reach us easily. And I think we've got our kind of next steps with them emailing you, Tom, right?
And the big question is, if staff can't help out, what can we and can't we do?
Yep.
With staffing ratios, with students, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, we do the Reach the Beach with volunteers.
Oh, I know, and
Yeah.
it barely made it this year. I had to go, I drove down and did a few hours of that myself
Mhm.
because they didn't have enough people to do Reach the Beach this year. It almost fell apart.
I think we gave you a cookie for that too.
I didn't need a cookie, I had an
Yeah.
apple. Thank you.
I feel like one thing we can do though, is another big piece of the puzzle is getting all these disparate groups rolling in the same direction.
Yeah, I just,
gotta
there
get
should just be
realigned.
one big group.
We should be helping one another, right? Like,
Right.
Not gonna happen.
And no,
Okay.
because
I-
the
Ah.
money
Try
each-
to approach.
Glass half empty.
Yeah.
No, no.
We're gonna try to make it
They're
happen.
like, you want our money? I'm like, no, I just want
Yeah.
to hear. I don't want
Maybe
your
not
money.
one big group. But get everybody aligned for a single cause, just
Yeah.
one time, just to prove the concept that everybody can work together.
Yes,
And who knows
absolutely.
about the future, but this one,
Yeah.
stay separate.
And we
whatever.
want to bring
But
Fremont in.
just go in the
Yeah.
same.
100%.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
huge for us.
huge.
And
Agreed.
we've been reaching out to them in the community.
Yeah, we found their Facebook page and we've been blasting things on there so that they know like the sustainability stuff, trying to get them like knowing what's going on.
Thank
But
you.
we talked to Jen too, like open house this year. Last year was not good. This year we need to make it good. We want to be there. We're gonna advertise for it.
And it'll help with teacher contracts because the parents just don't know all the teachers. And I mean, I move right into the lounge, but not every parent's gonna do that. Yeah,
She does.
Yeah.
My wife even knows Mary.
Yes.
Well, thank you, I know this is an evening out of your time to come,
Yes,
so thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
we're here on my dedication.
Nice to
so
see
thank
you again.
Your mom today, she went Memorial, my son, my other son is fourth grade.
Oh,
She's gonna be just a fourth grade.
Jeremiah.
like,
Yes.
high school
Oh, Jeremiah, you have to adjourn the meeting.
I understand, yep,
Oh, okay, thanks.
So,
Yeah. yes, she does work over there.
Yeah, she was chatting.
Yeah, he gave me the look, like,
Gave me a look.
I know what I'm doing, Tom.
Yes, we're good.
Thank you all.
Um,
Anything else, gentlemen?
Nope.
no,
Next
I-
meeting,
Thank you.
next
Sorry.
meeting, next meeting, when that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you
Neither
have
do
a
I.
next meeting? I might have it.
I think it's in August.
I have, August.
Yeah.
We got a lot of work to do between now.
Yeah.
Um,
We can email and get together sometime, but usually July is the quiet month.
Yes.
Yeah,
let's try to-
break.
Let's try to protect that a little bit. Okay.
I don't know.
Do we have to have the exact?
I have it in the
No.
other room.
Okay,
No, it's fine. You can just.
Okay. we'll put it in there. I know Phyllis has it, so, there being nothing else, I'd like to call to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, you can just adjourn.
Yeah.
Okay.
As the chair, you have
Okay.
authority to.
This meeting is adjourned. Great.
Good
Thank
job.
you all.
Good.